This lesson, Kathmandu from class 9th, is an amazing story. The story revolves around author's experience to the place when he first visited Kathmandu while one of his travelogue in writing when he was returning from China to India. He thought of traveling alone. He was with two other companions where he learned a lot of things. In this place, Kathmandu, he happens to visit two different places, and both of them were actually the temples or the shrines. One was devoted to Hindus and the other was devoted to the Buddhist. Talking about the first temple, Vikram Seth explains that in his first experience of the place, he felt that the place was all crowded. He mentions the place as febrile confusion, a complete energetic environment where he learns about a lot of things that were quite similar to the place that he experiences here in India. At first place where he goes, he talks about Pashupatinath temple. Pashupatinath temple is a place for Hindu devotees. It is very religious. When he travels there, he finds out that the place is amazingly beautiful. Along with that, there were a huge crowd of buses, travelers, visitors, in fact even Westerners. There was a huge signboard that mentioned that this place is only for Hindus. Yet, there were many Westerners who were trying to push each other, elbow each other and try to get priestess attention, while the Hindu travelers as well as the worshippers were also trying to get inside. As far as this place is concerned, it had all the blend, culture, religion as well as amazing atmosphere where there was a lot of energy and other things. At this Hindu shrine, he was amazed by the beauty and he could also relate to the Indian places and temples. He speaks about how there was a Bagmati river that flows down and all the other religious rites were performed of birth and death both on its bank. And obviously, the common belief that was also shared that there is a river protruding the water, and once the goddess comes out of it, the place of Kali Yuga, this entire world will come to an end. In fact, when he visited the Buddhist temple, he talks about that although it was quite similar to the Buddhist monasteries here in India, but he also speaks that the place was quiet, calm and solace. There were not many visitors, it was not much crowded, and yet he speaks about the volume, that the dome, the structure, the whiteness and the serenity was breathtaking. He realizes that although the streets were very crowded and there were a lot of shops selling out things that were westerns like chocolate, makeup articles, toffees, lollies, and a lot of things were there, all piled up, all decked up in the stores that were selling those things. But apart from that, he also finds out that the place had utmost silence, beauty and a charm of its own. The author also explains that the place had amazing capacity of cultural blend. He is taken by the diversity of Kathmandu. The place, the aura and the places that were crowded by the people were amazing to look at. He also could realize that he started to miss his own country, India, and wanted to go back. At once he thought of going and getting a ticket back to his own country. He could have opted for any other transport mode, but still he kept on to the airway ticket because he thought that this thing will delay his process of going back. When he was coming back from the railway ticket counter, he found out that the street were crowded by flute sellers who were playing melodious songs. He wanted to hear them all. He could hear that he traced down that how different places had their own individual creative as well as melodious tone that were added. He speaks about 5 different flute classical musics that are all heard in different parts of the country as well as abroad. He speaks at volume that these flute sellers reminded him of any other ghats, of any other place where he wanted to go or maybe had seen, witnessed, and he started missing his country all the more. In fact, when he talks about the cultural blend, he speaks about how the nations are divided, bounded, and yet they are so close to one another. He actually speaks about that in his pursuit of exploration, adventure, he could actually land up to his own cultural heritage, where he started to respect everything all the more. To sum up, I would actually bring your attention towards this beautiful place, Kathmandu. As per the author, he explains that the city has a vibrant color that were crowded by the people, that were crowded by the animal, that had streets all lined up and decked up with stores, and yet there was so much of modernity that could be seen and observed, while he speaks about the unique atmosphere of Kathmandu. While witnessing these two pilgrims, the Pashupatinath temple and the Bodhnath stupa, he was amazed to see how things have turned up. He talks about the religious beliefs that had been followed around the world, about the Tibetan market, and also about the cultural benefits of such religion that are taken forward by generations. Also, when he talks about the beautiful delicacies served on the streets, he is really taken by the grilled corn as well as the marzipan that really impressed him. In fact, he also mentions about Coca-Cola that he had to gulp in order to digest what he had eaten. In fact, there was one more important thing that everybody must remember is that the melody, the music, and the chants that he heard, that he observed and experienced, they all could relate to a lot of things, and he starts to miss the bansuri, the flutes of his own country that took him back, and that's how the life came to full circle. I hope this lesson would be clear to you. For this, you need to pay a little more attention to the lines in between of the text that is there. Kindly read all the words, find out new vocabulary, learn them and try to use them in your languages. Thank you so much.